Welcome! Today we're diving into the concept of a cease operations notice, a term that can send shivers down the spine of any business owner. But what exactly does it mean? In simple terms, a cease operations notice is an official directive, usually from a government authority, requiring a business to stop its activities immediately. This notice can be temporary or permanent, depending on the circumstances. Understanding what triggers such a notice and how it impacts businesses is crucial for anyone involved in running or managing a company. Let's break down the essentials and see why this notice matters so much. A cease operations notice is a formal communication from an authority, such as a regulatory agency or local government, instructing a business to halt all or specific activities. This notice is not a suggestion, it's a legal order that must be followed. The reasons for issuing such a notice can vary, but the core idea is always the same. The business must stop operating, either entirely or in part, until further notice, or until certain conditions are met. This can have significant consequences for the business, its employees, and even its customers. Typically, a cease operations notice is issued by a government agency or regulatory body. This could be a local health department, fire marshal, building inspector, or even a federal agency, depending on the nature of the business and the reason for the notice. These authorities have the power to enforce compliance, and ignoring such a notice can lead to severe penalties, including fines or even criminal charges. It's important for businesses to know which agencies oversee their operations and to maintain open communication with them. There are several reasons why a business might receive a cease operations notice. Common causes include violations of health and safety regulations, failure to obtain proper permits, fire hazards, or environmental concerns. Sometimes, a business may be ordered to cease operations due to legal disputes or non-compliance with zoning laws. Each of these reasons reflects a situation where continuing business as usual could pose risks to public safety, the environment, or the integrity of the regulatory system. Not all cease operations notices are created equal. Some are temporary, meaning the business can resume operations once it addresses the issues outlined in the notice. Others are permanent, requiring the business to shut down for good. The distinction depends on the severity of the violation and whether it can be remedied. Temporary notices often come with a list of corrective actions, while permanent ones may result from irreparable harm or repeated violations. Receiving a cease operations notice can be a shock. The immediate impact is that the business must stop all specified activities right away. This can mean closing doors to customers, halting production, or suspending services. Employees may be sent home, and customers may be left without access to products or services they rely on. The financial impact can be significant, especially if the business is unable to operate for an extended period. Once a cease operations notice is received, the business is legally obligated to comply. Failure to do so can result in hefty fines, legal action, or even criminal charges in severe cases. Compliance usually involves stopping all activity specified in the notice and taking steps to address the underlying issues. It's crucial for businesses to understand their legal responsibilities and to act quickly to avoid further complications. The process of issuing a cease operations notice typically involves a formal inspection or investigation. Authorities will document violations or concerns and then deliver the notice in writing. This document will outline the reasons for the order, the specific activities that must stop, and any steps the business can take to resolve the situation. In some cases, the notice may be posted publicly at the business location. A standard cease operations notice will include several key elements. These typically cover the name and address of the business, the specific violations or reasons for the order, the date of issuance, and the signature of the issuing authority. It will also specify which activities must stop and may include instructions for corrective actions or an appeal process. Understanding these details is essential for responding appropriately. In many cases, a cease operations notice will outline specific corrective actions the business must take to resume operations. These might include fixing safety hazards, obtaining missing permits, or making repairs. The notice will often set a deadline for compliance, after which the business can request a re-inspection. Successfully completing these actions is the key to lifting the notice and getting back to business. If a business believes a cease operations notice was issued in error, there is often an appeal process. This process allows the business to present evidence or arguments to the issuing authority, seeking to overturn or modify the notice. The appeal must usually be filed within a specific time frame, and the business may need to provide documentation or attend a hearing. Understanding the appeal process is important for protecting your rights. When faced with a cease operations notice, consulting with legal counsel is often a wise move. An attorney can help interpret the notice, advise on compliance, and assist with appeals if necessary. Legal professionals can also communicate with authorities on your behalf and ensure that your rights are protected throughout the process. Their expertise can make a significant difference in resolving the situation efficiently. Open and respectful communication with the issuing authority is key when dealing with a cease operations notice. Businesses should respond promptly to all correspondence, provide requested information, and cooperate fully with inspections or investigations. Building a positive relationship with regulators can sometimes lead to more favorable outcomes and faster resolution of issues. A cease operations notice doesn't just affect the business owner, it can have a major impact on employees as well. Workers may be temporarily laid off or reassigned, and uncertainty about the business's future can cause stress and anxiety. Employers should communicate openly with staff, explain the situation, and provide updates as new information becomes available. Supporting employees during this time is crucial for maintaining morale. Customers may also be affected by a cease operations notice, especially if they rely on the business for essential goods or services. It's important for businesses to communicate clearly with customers, explaining the situation and providing information about when or if operations might resume. Good communication can help preserve customer trust and loyalty even during challenging times. The financial impact of a cease operations notice can be severe. Lost revenue, ongoing expenses, and potential fines can quickly add up. Businesses may need to tap into emergency funds, seek loans, or negotiate with creditors to stay afloat. Careful financial planning and quick action are essential to minimize losses and ensure the business can recover once the notice is lifted. Some business insurance policies may cover losses related to a cease operations notice, especially if the shutdown is due to events like fire, natural disasters, or certain legal actions. It's important to review your policy and contact your insurance provider to understand what coverage is available. Filing a timely claim can help offset some of the financial losses and support recovery efforts. A cease operations notice can harm a business's reputation, especially if the shutdown is due to health or safety violations. Proactive communication, transparency, and a commitment to resolving issues can help rebuild trust with customers, employees, and the community. Reputation management strategies, such as public statements or outreach campaigns, may be necessary to restore the business's image. To resume operations after receiving a notice, businesses must complete all required corrective actions and request a re-inspection from the issuing authority. Once the authority verifies that all issues have been addressed, they may lift the notice and allow the business to reopen. Keeping detailed records of all actions taken can help ensure a smooth process and demonstrate compliance. Prevention is always better than cure. Businesses can reduce the risk of receiving a cease operations notice by staying up to date with regulations, conducting regular safety checks, and maintaining open communication with authorities. Investing in staff training and compliance programs can also help identify and address potential issues before they become serious problems. Let's look at a real-world example. A restaurant receives a cease operations notice after a health inspector finds multiple violations, such as improper food storage and unsanitary conditions. The notice requires the restaurant to close immediately and fix the issues. After addressing the problems and passing a follow-up inspection, the restaurant is allowed to reopen. This case highlights the importance of compliance and quick action. In another example, a manufacturing plant is ordered to cease operations due to fire safety violations. Inspectors discover blocked exits and faulty fire alarms. The plant must halt production until these hazards are corrected. After making the necessary repairs and passing inspection, the plant resumes operations. This scenario underscores the critical role of safety in business continuity. A retail store opens without obtaining the necessary permits from the local government. When authorities discover the oversight, they issue a cease operations notice. The store must close until it secures the required permits. This case illustrates the importance of proper documentation and regulatory compliance from the very beginning. A factory is ordered to cease operations after inspectors find evidence of illegal dumping of hazardous waste. The notice requires the factory to stop all activities until it cleans up the site and implements proper waste management procedures. This example shows how environmental violations can lead to serious consequences for businesses. Sometimes, a cease operations notice is issued due to ongoing legal disputes. For example, a business may be ordered to stop operations while a court determines whether it has the right to occupy a particular property. In such cases, the notice remains in effect until the legal issues are resolved. This highlights the importance of resolving disputes quickly to minimize business disruption. A business operating in a residential area without proper zoning approval may receive a cease operations notice. Local authorities enforce zoning laws to ensure businesses operate in appropriate locations. The business must either relocate or obtain the necessary approvals before resuming operations. This case demonstrates the importance of understanding and complying with local zoning regulations. During the COVID-19 pandemic, many businesses received cease operations notices as part of public health measures. These notices were often temporary and aimed at preventing the spread of the virus. Businesses had to adapt quickly, implementing new safety protocols or shifting to remote work. This example shows how external events can lead to widespread operational shutdowns. A construction company may receive a cease operations notice if inspectors find unsafe working conditions, such as unstable scaffolding or lack of safety equipment. The company must halt all work until the hazards are corrected. This case highlights the importance of workplace safety and regular inspections in high-risk industries. A food processing plant may be ordered to cease operations if inspectors find contamination or improper handling of food products. The notice will specify what needs to be corrected before the plant can reopen. This scenario emphasizes the importance of strict food safety protocols and regular quality checks. A commercial building may be shut down if inspectors find serious building code violations, such as structural damage or lack of fire exits. The cease operations notice will remain in effect until all violations are corrected and the building passes inspection. This case demonstrates the importance of maintaining safe and compliant facilities. If a business experiences major utility failures, such as water contamination or electrical hazards, authorities may issue a cease operations notice. The business must resolve the utility issues before reopening. This scenario shows how infrastructure problems can disrupt business operations and the importance of regular maintenance. A business may be ordered to cease operations if found guilty of serious labor violations, such as unsafe working conditions or illegal employment practices. The notice will specify what must be corrected before the business can reopen. This case highlights the importance of fair labor practices and compliance with employment laws. A nightclub or entertainment venue may receive a cease operations notice if it repeatedly violates local noise ordinances. The business must address the complaints, such as by installing soundproofing, before it can reopen. This example shows how community relations and adherence to local laws are vital for business continuity. A business that undertakes construction or renovations without proper permits may be ordered to cease operations. The notice will remain in effect until the business obtains the necessary approvals and passes inspection. This scenario demonstrates the importance of following all permitting procedures for any building work. A business operating without the required licenses, such as a bar without a liquor license, may receive a cease operations notice. The business must obtain the necessary licenses before it can legally reopen. This case highlights the need for proper licensing and regulatory compliance in all business activities. If a business fails to pay required taxes or files fraudulent returns, tax authorities may issue a cease operations notice. The business must resolve its tax issues before resuming operations. This scenario underscores the importance of accurate financial reporting and timely tax payments. A business using copyrighted material without permission may be ordered to cease operations until it resolves the intellectual property dispute. This notice protects the rights of original creators and enforces compliance with copyright laws. The business must remove infringing materials or obtain proper licenses before reopening. A company experiencing a major data breach may be ordered to cease operations until it secures its systems and protects customer information. The notice will specify what security measures must be implemented before the business can resume activities. This case highlights the growing importance of cybersecurity in today's business environment. If a business is under investigation for fraud, authorities may issue a cease operations notice to prevent further illegal activity. The business must cooperate with investigators and may only reopen once cleared of wrongdoing. This scenario demonstrates the serious consequences of unethical business practices. A business that poses an immediate threat to public safety, such as a chemical plant with a leak, may be ordered to cease operations instantly. The notice will remain in effect until the threat is eliminated and safety is restored. This case shows how protecting public safety is the top priority for regulatory authorities. A business that fails to pay utility bills may receive a cease operations notice when services are disconnected. The business must settle outstanding debts and restore services before reopening. This scenario highlights the importance of managing financial obligations and maintaining essential utilities. If a business sells products that are later found to be unsafe, authorities may issue a cease operations notice until all recalled items are removed from circulation. The business must cooperate with the recall process and ensure customer safety before resuming operations. This case demonstrates the importance of product safety and quality control. A business handling hazardous materials without proper safety measures may be ordered to cease operations. The notice will specify what needs to be corrected before the business can reopen. This scenario highlights the need for strict adherence to safety protocols when dealing with dangerous substances. A business employing unlicensed professionals, such as doctors or engineers, may receive a cease operations notice. The business must ensure all staff have the proper credentials before reopening. This case underscores the importance of verifying qualifications and maintaining professional standards. In summary, a cease operations notice is a serious legal order that requires businesses to halt activities due to regulatory, safety, or legal concerns. Understanding the reasons for such notices, the process for compliance, and the steps to resume operations is essential for every business owner. By staying proactive, maintaining compliance, and communicating effectively, businesses can minimize the risk of shutdowns and ensure long-term success.